What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well today. And we got some more corners to look at here. We looked earlier, the video I posted this morning, at the cornerbacks who are projected to be first-round picks. So now we're going to move on to a few guys that are currently projected as first half of the second round guys. These are guys that are currently projected to be somewhere in that 33 to 48 range. So definitely some interest here. And there are some nice players here. I like this crew. So let's get into it a little bit here, starting with Colton Hood, the Tennessee volunteer corner that actually played in 2025. 21. He's got decent size. He's almost 6 feet tall, 193 pounds. Arms are okay, 31 and 3/8. So the size is there for him to handle boundary duties in the NFL, I think. Tested, the explosiveness is good. The 10-yard split is troublesome. The 40-yard dash was pretty good, so mixed bag. He is a little bit bigger, so it's somewhat forgivable. All the big boards that have him in the early second, as does the aggregate, so pretty much consensus there where he is ranked. And last 2 years, 3 interceptions, 14 passes defensed, 52 targets, 318 yards allowed last year, so really nice efficiency, almost 80 PFF grade. The year before that, he was also pretty good. Gave up some bigger plays, I guess, but nothing egregious. So the positives with Colton Hood is how physical he is. He's very physical in press coverage. He's physical in coverage in general. And he's also a physical tackler, willing to throw his body around, willing to fight through blocks, willing to sell out to bring down a ball carrier, all that kind of good stuff. So he's a very physical guy. He's also got enough speed to hang with long developing routes, like he can chase a guy around the field and hold up. He's capable in zone as well. He's proven that he can at least handle the basic duties of a zone corner. And the trigger on throws in front of him is rapid and strong. So they call it the click and close, but whatever you want to call it, it's pretty quick. He's able to get to where he needs to go when the play's in front of him pretty quickly. Some of the downsides with Colton Hood, he flips his hips too early. Like sometimes he'll think that it's a vertical route, he'll flip his hips, and then the receiver breaks the route off and he loses his man that way. Sometimes he's too physical and he draws penalties. He did get penalized a lot in college. I do think that faster and quicker receivers are going to give him issues and be able to build some separation on him. So certain matchups will be an issue. He's not really that smooth of a mover in terms of like improvisation and chasing guys on creative routes. So he's not the smoothest mover necessarily, and his instincts in coverage are still a work in progress. The good news is he's 21. So I find Hood to have a little bit more of a narrow use case. You need to be playing a lot of press man if you're going to be using Colton Hood to his best abilities. Colton Hood is meant to be a press corner, and there he can unleash his physicality. I will say the combine was nice, though, right? You look at these combine scores, you're like, hey, maybe he's more than that. Maybe he has more speed than it looks like on the tape. Maybe he's more explosive than it looked on tape. So early second round, I think that's about right. I'm going to go with the consensus here. Early second round for me. And I just kind of feel like he'd be a little bit wasted in a defense that doesn't run heavy press. So I'm not in love with the idea of taking him while I do respect his game. Okay, Brandon Cisse is next up here. This is a very interesting guy for Seahawks fans. A lot of Seahawks fans circling this one. South Carolina Gamecocks, 21 years old, very young still. 6 feet flat, so decent size. 189 pounds, could maybe add a little bit of weight. Arm length, it's dicey, but it's not completely disqualifying. 26th percentile. Small hands. Very explosive, though. What he did at the combine, he did very well. 41-inch vert, 10-foot, 11-inch broad. Very nice. And the big boards mostly put him in the early second. CBS puts him in the late second. Walter puts him in the late first. Aggregate early second. Seems to be about where he's coming. Not a ton of ball production over the last couple years, admittedly. 10 passes defensed and 1 pick, but he's allowed about a 50% completion rate over the last 2 years. Last year, he did allow too many big plays. That was kind of a problem for him. Like, if you look at the numbers on PFF, he allowed over 20 yards per completion. So that wasn't great, but other than that, pretty good coverage numbers. So the positives with Cisse, he's great at closing distance at the catch point to make a play on the ball. Really good at getting things muddy and messy at the catch point. He's got straight line speed to allow him to keep up on vertical routes downfield, so he's not really a slow guy or anything. I know he didn't run the 40, but it probably would have been pretty good. He closes hard on throws in front of him. He's got that click and close in zone. He's excellent in run support as well. He's a good tackler, willing, not afraid to get physical, very athletic mover as well. He moves very well in space. He's very good at changing direction. He's got smooth hips when he flips. He's an excellent man cover corner. I think that's going to be his specialty. So if you're looking for a man cover corner, this is going to be a guy, and he's good at working through blockers. He can fight his way through contact and get to the ball carrier. So good stuff. Now, as a cerebral corner, there is still work to be done. I don't think he's all the way there in terms of being able to read routes and read plays and know where the play's going ahead of time. He's more reactive. He doesn't have a lot of ball production, and there are a couple different reasons why that is, but mostly it's because he's more reactive than proactive right now. He's not as good in zone as he is in man. So right now he's a man corner, and it will take time to change that. And there's always an argument to be made that it won't necessarily change. And sometimes, even though I feel like he's good here for the most part, he can go for the hard hit and not wrap up properly. So some things to work on, but I think most of it is fixable. I am a big fan. It's imperfect in this defense because McDonald mostly runs zone. But I look at this player, and I see a guy that can get better fast. I see a guy that can improve and become a very good player in zone as well as man over time. And I understand that maybe you don't want to spend a high pick on a player where you're not 100% sure, but in this draft, I think he's worth a back end of the first round pick, even in this defense. So we get him at 32. I'm happy with that. So yeah, that is my feeling on Brandon Cisse. I think that he will become very good, and if we get him at 32, I'm good. Final guy for this video is going to be Chris Johnson, the San Diego State corner. Another 21-year-old, another young guy, and this one may become target number one for a lot of Seahawks fans. I'm going to tell you that right now. Not just because he's good, but because he is exactly the kind of thing I think McDonald would like. So he's 6 feet tall, pretty good, got decent weight. The arm length is not great, but it's also not disqualifying. 22nd percentile is not the worst thing in the world. He's got big hands, I guess. He tested pretty well. 4.4 speed is great. That's better than people thought it was going to be. The 10-yard split, yeah, we kind of wish that was better. The broad was good. Big boards, first half of the second round, pretty much all over the place. Database puts him in the kind of the middle of the second, honestly, but slightly leaning towards the first half, I guess. Production over almost 120 tackles over the last 2 years, 5 picks, 13 passes defensed. Look at these coverage numbers from 2025, by the way. 43 targets, 185 yards, 91.6 PFF. Really, really good. Big improvement over 2024 when he allowed over 10 yards per target. 2025, really, really hard to get anything done when you're targeting him. So, positives with Chris Johnson. And pay attention here because I do partially expect this to end up being the guy we go for. He's very versatile across schemes and positions. Zone can do it. Man can do it. I think more zone than man, but he can do both in theory. And position. I think that this is a guy who can play outside. I think he can play inside. You're going to get an all-around complete corner if you get Chris Johnson. He's good at reading routes. He's constantly in the right position. You allow him to face the play, and he's going to read things really well. His ball tracking skills are very good. I think he's a really good ball tracker. He covers hard without drawing penalties as well. He's somebody that will stick close to his man but not get grabby. And a lot of college corners get grabby because they think they can get away with it because it's college and they can't get away with it in the NFL. Chris Johnson's already not getting away with it. Not by which I mean he's not doing it. He's good at working through traffic, working through blockers to make good firm tackles. He's a sound fundamental run defender and tackler. He tested better than expected, I think. I don't believe that a 4-4 was considered likely for him because he's more of a zone corner. And he's got good footwork, which allows him to get beat and then make up for it with his footwork. So, lot to love here with Chris Johnson. Now, I don't think he looks like a 4-4 guy on tape, admittedly. So, there is a little bit of a cognitive dissonance there. So, I would say that maybe you need to work a little bit to get it out of him. Bigger receivers posterize him a little bit. The bigger guys, he struggles to stay with them. Sometimes he bites early on vertical routes, like he does the thing where he flips the hips, and then the receiver will break it off, and he can't get back in the play. And he's not going to be great in press, I don't think. I don't see him as a press cover corner. So if you're looking at that use case, that might be the one thing where he's not completely ubiquitous. So he's one of my favorites. I think he's going to be brilliant in zone. I think he's going to be brilliant in a defense just like this one. He's a good enough tackler to also fill that need. So this is one of my favorite guys you could get at 32. Great season at SDSU. I really like what I'm seeing here. The combine kind of proved that he's not just a small school guy to me. So yeah, I feel like he's a top 25 player in this draft. If you get him at 32, you are doing very well for yourself. And if he's there, I'm all over it. All right, so that is Chris Johnson, and that is the final of the top half of the second round corners I wanted to look at here. So everybody have a great rest of your day. There will be another video later, probably sometime in the evening, where I look at the bottom half of the second round corners. A few more guys. See you guys soon. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Go Hawks.